joining us and finding God in the world of video games.
Babe, I'm so excited because I know you like surprises.
But I don't like surprises.
Yes, you do. You're going to love this.
No,
I have a surprise for you.
I especially don't like your surprises.
You're going to love it.
Last time you said that, we had kombucha.
You're going to love it.
Okay.
Okay, so you know how you like cooking?
I do like cooking.
And you know how you like video games?
I enjoy video games a lot.
So I decided to get something that would combine the two.
I really don't like where this is going. I'm scared now.
I got you.
This might be our last video. Overcooked 2. All right,
Woo!
So we can take the fact that we don't cook well together, and we can try to apply that in a video game.
Babe, take this leap of faith in me, and trust me, you're gonna love this game.
The last time you said that, there was chicken all over the floor, and
well, the chicken can't get on the floor in this game, so I think we're gonna enjoy it.
All right, we'll give it a try. I will give you one opportunity with this one opportunity.
Trust me. Trust me.
Trust is hard to come by for me, and especially when we're talking about something like a leap of faith. The leap of faith is probably present in most gamers' lexicon due to the Assassin's Creed series, and for good reason. Whether it's your first time or your 1000th, the leap of faith is a thing of beauty. After a long, arduous climb to a height from which a fall would be more than fatal, your character scans the horizon and then performs an acrobatic dive into the safety of a bale of hay or something else similar in purpose. From the challenge of the climb to the breathtaking view that typically unlocks additional areas of exploration once completed, the leap of faith is both an exciting and vital part to not only the Assassin's Creed experience, but to many other games as well.
I remember that first time that I had to make that massive jump in Super Mario Brothers. I think it was World 8-2.
Okay.
It just kind of came out of nowhere. And as I was speeding towards the castle with my eyes on the final confrontation with Bowser, I suddenly saw this giant gap appear in front of me, longer than any gap I had faced up to that point.
In uncharted territory and with trembling hands, I remember that I tried to make that running leap towards that jump without any idea what lied behind it, and honestly, I failed several times on that. These leaps of faith are quite common in games, but honestly, they're just as prevalent out here in the real world. It's highly likely most of us have heard the phrase doubting Thomas at some point in our lives. Regardless of your background in Christianity or belief in the Bible, most of us have heard this nickname. It's worked its way into the modern vernacular with a staying power that rivals that of, honestly, any recent current catchphrase. I mean, if you think about it, 2,000 years from now, we probably won't know what an LOL is or what doing the stanky leg means.
You don't even know what doing the stinky leg is now.
I don't know. It's that thing where, like, you're a zombie.
No.
No? It's something to do with a leg, and it stinks. I don't know, like decaying flesh or something. Anyway, well, we may not know what those things mean 2,000 years from now, but 2,000 years after the events of his life, the name Doubting Thomas is still here, so it's got some pretty serious staying power.
Well, why do you think that is? I mean, do you think it's truly doubt or something that's even deeper than that?
Well, let's look at it and find out. The root of this story comes from the book of John, when Jesus has just been unjustly tried, savagely executed, and his followers scattered for fear that they would face a similar fate. Thomas, who was one of these disciples of Christ, has just witnessed all of these things come to pass thanks to the cruel betrayal of one of his fellow followers, Judas. After 3 years of eating, sleeping, and traveling together with Jesus, Judas, and the rest of the disciples, his entire world has been turned upside down, and it was impossible to know if anyone could be trusted right now. He had given up his job, he had left his home, and was now potentially on the most wanted list.
Suffice to say, Thomas's frame of mind was a bit clouded with darkness at the moment. So when the surviving 10 disciples came to Thomas and told him that they have not only seen Jesus, but are certain that he is alive, they are met with one of the most infamous phrases in the Bible. John 20:25. So he said to them, "Unless I see in his hands the print of the nails, and I put my hands into his side, I will not believe."
Wow. Well, I mean, it would be easy to immediately judge this statement, and Thomas along with it, and that's where we classify him as Doubting Thomas. But is that really true or fair? Did any of the other disciples believe when Mary had come to them previously and told them about her tomb experience with Jesus? No, not so much. The others only believed because they had personally interacted with Jesus previously. So the real question then becomes, why wasn't Thomas with the other disciples when they saw Jesus that first time? And now we're kind of getting to the heart of the issue. This was not a case of Thomas deciding he did not want to believe. Thomas was simply too hurt to launch out on another leap of faith after hitting the ground so hard the last time. Well, consider this. Thomas has already performed at least one mighty leap of faith. He chose to follow Jesus. He chose to give up everything, and for the last 3 years, he jumped in with both feet and followed Jesus wherever he was going. And then when we see in John 11, when Jesus is going for Lazarus' resurrection, which was a very risky move, and it's shortly before his crucifixion, his wanted level is at its highest point. We're talking 5 stars here. Thomas is bold enough to say, well, we're going to follow Jesus, and we're going to go with him, even if this means our own death. So the problem here is not necessarily that Thomas doubted Jesus. It was that he wasn't prepared to believe again because of the hurt that he was carrying from the disappointment he had just endured, a dual-level disappointment. Because you have to think, yes, it was very painful for him to watch everything that happened to Jesus and to realize that everything that he had just followed for 3 years, he doesn't know what it means now. But you also have to remember that Judas didn't just betray Jesus. Judas had literally lived with these other 11 men for 3 years. He betrayed all of them too. He put all of them at risk. So it's one thing, and it's obviously the biggest thing was being disappointed in the death of Jesus and not understanding what that means. But he also had to endure, I don't even know if I can trust the people around me now, because one of my best friends just got one of my other best friends, and the man I thought was the Son of God, killed, and risked all of us at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely relate to this. I remember this one time when I was at a theme park with my best friend, and we went on this ride where they take you up, and they attach you to all these things, and they pull you all the way up and all the way back, really, like hundreds of feet high.
I would never do it.
And they release you, and you go and you swing like this.
Nope.
And I had so much faith and trust in that because, you're secure, and I was with my friends, but unfortunately that's just not how this Christian life works.
Not so much. And more often than not, it's more like the path of Thomas. Your way becomes blurry because the hopes and dreams that we were holding on to are murdered before our very eyes, and someone we trusted the most betrayed us when we least expected it. In that situation, it's not your doubt that is blinding you, it's your pain. Doubt is merely the symptom of this. It's a natural response, similar to when you instinctively learn at a younger age to move your hand away from a hot stove because it has burned you before. It's that pain. And the fear of taking that leap of faith only to fall painfully to the ground again is a powerful deterrent that paralyzes many of us, and it locks us into a holding pattern at the top of where we're supposed to take that leap of faith from.
Just like in Assassin's Creed, we can see the places that we would like to go from this vantage point and the world of opportunity that awaits us. But the pain of our previous hurt can keep us too grounded in our pain and disappointment to even try again.
So maybe we can cut Thomas just a little bit more slack. Perhaps we can even remove the label, doubting, and just call him Thomas. Because if we were in his shoes, it is entirely possible we would have had a very similar response. I know I have. The first leap of faith is not the hardest one. It's the second one. It's the one after the betrayal and the heartache. It's the act of choosing to reach beyond your pain and making the decision to climb back up and leap once again. The fall was not fatal, obviously, because you're still here. And our Lord, in his ever-abundant grace, did not condemn Thomas for his human frailty. He specifically came to see Thomas and invited him to place his hands in his nail-scarred hands and to put his hand into his side. And if you look carefully, you will see he will be more than happy to do the same for you.
The fact that you're still here living and breathing means that your story isn't over yet. And while he may not show you the way that Thomas experienced it, his nail-scarred hands are still holding you, even now.
So go ahead. If he told you to jump, then prepare to make the leap. Everything you see from that upper vantage point is merely enlightening your next destination. And as Thomas was about to find out, this was nowhere near the end of his story, nor is it the end of yours. There's still so much left to do.